Um, alrighty. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would appreciate you giving the stream a like because I'm dying. I almost didn't go live. That's why I'm so late. I am honestly feeling like death warmed over, and gonna be honest with you. It's been a struggle. It's been a hard day. But we're here. We're here. We're live, and we are still kicking. So, since I have yet to keel over and collapse into a ball, I'm just going to do my best here. I will be honest with you. I could end the stream at any given moment. um it's just one of those days. It's just one of those days. Yeah. So we're gonna go through some stuff. We're gonna kick through some shit, and we will see what we get through today. I am actually going to start with the emiru stuff because I'd like to get through that. And goodness me, hold on. I gotta get some stuff pulled up here. I was only slightly prepared for this stream because once again, I am barely alive. Barely coherent, barely aware of the world right now. Okay. Alrighty. We are in it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give it a couple more. Yeah, that was English. I'm gonna give it another minute here, maybe, before we get started. But other than that, today's been pretty chill, I guess. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I did not watch the Super Bowl. Honestly, the day I watch the Super Bowl will be the day the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, so probably never in my lifetime, if we're going off of the previous track record. So, yeah, Super Bowl's Super Bowl, I guess. It happened. It's going on. I mean, it's not going on anymore. It's over. I believe it was the Seahawks versus the Patriots, perhaps. I think the Patriots lost. I know the Patriots were one of the teams playing. But yeah. Well, now the music's way loud. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay, let's just get into it. I mean, I'm gonna stop putting it off because I gotta get through some shit today, and so let's get started. All right, I am gonna record this, so give me a second. Switch over here. Full screen. Okay, so what do we got today? Today. 1 second. Here we go. Let me get started. Proper like here. All right, so emiru has been in a bit of a controversy, I suppose you could say. So emiru has been dealing with some backlash as of late And a lot of it basically comes down to not wanting to pick a side in a lot of things like Tectone's case and that kind of thing. And ICE was the kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, it seems. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I find this very interesting from the from the perspective of this kind of from the perspective of this angle of centrism that nearly every streamer and content creator takes because they don't want to alienate any part of their audience by taking a political opinion. Right? It's a survival, mechanism, a way of keeping their audience and not alienating anybody and not sort of cutting off part of their revenue. And so you will have a lot of streamers who toe the line on topics. And for a long time, that was fine. For a long time, people actually liked that. They preferred that. And we are now reaching a period, I think, where people no longer want you to be apolitical, or people want to know where you stand on certain issues, which is very interesting to me because this has kind of been how I have conducted myself my whole life. I try to surround myself with people who agree with me on certain beliefs, not necessarily every single topic, but certain things are, deal breakers for me. And I treat content creators the same way. Like if I'm watching someone, if they are someone who has a certain opinion on something that is a deal breaker for me, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to stop watching that person. There's usually somewhere else I can find similar content. So it is very interesting to me personally to see this sort of response, I guess, to emiru, because I don't know if other people approach content that way. I'm a little bit more lenient when it comes to things like a movie or a show or something like that because multiple different people work on that kind of thing and it's a lot harder to sort of, you know, disconnect from that. But, a musician or a content creator or something like that who believes in certain things that I just don't support, I am going to behave accordingly. I am going to act accordingly and not engage with your content. So we have this clip from emiru, and we're gonna watch this and then we're gonna read her response that she did put out very recently. It's a long response too, so I don't know how much of it I will read, but we'll skim through it so you can kind of get an idea of what she had to say. But yeah, I do think we are witnessing the much deserved death of the centrist. And I say much deserved because, God, I mean, centrism is such a pointless ideology, in my opinion. I don't believe it's even necessarily real because I do think people have opinions on things. They're never really truly a centrist. You are going to be leaning in one direction or the other. And even if you take a supposedly neutral opinion on something, you're kind of taking the opinion that it doesn't matter enough for you to speak up, doesn't matter enough for you to engage with. And so I don't think centrism is real. I think it's, kind of a bullshit wanna be apolitical, wanna be able to appeal to everybody avenue of approach to ideology and politics. And we are starting to see that fall away. We are starting to see that become something that is not the sort of expected or go-to method anymore. I think that as we go forward, I think that we have gotten to a point where people are so sort of ready to take hardline stances on things because I don't know if they maybe realize the weight of a lot of these topics now that we are in the full throes of fascism, but they are more willing to sort of draw the line when it comes to calling out a content creator. And so basically, this was about Emiru's thoughts on ICE, and her opinion is basically, why do you want my opinion? I'm just a streamer. And to some degree, I do agree with that sentiment. I do think that we should take the opinions of streamers, of content creators, a little bit less seriously, unless you are someone who is, unless you have someone who sort of has the credentials and education to back your talk up. I do think that you should be fairly critical. Even if someone like me, I am, you know, not necessarily, I don't know, just be critical. Just be normal about it, man. I don't know, don't be weird. And so, yeah, I don't think that you should want, necessarily Emeru's opinion on ICE, but it is obvious that she has connections to someone like Asmongold, who has very publicly given his opinion on ICE and ICE's activities and supported it. So I do imagine that is ultimately why people are really pushing for Emiru's opinion on what is happening and why they are sort of going so hard on her here. And I think it's, again, I do think there is something to be said about, like, why do you want her opinion? But at the same time, ICE is actively terrorizing communities, and now is the time to speak out on that kind of thing. And if you have a platform and you choose not to speak out on that kind of thing, then you're kind of making your choice. I mean, you're not kind of making your choice, you are making your choice. And so we have this clip, and I'll let it play. It's only a minute long, and then I will read her response that she did finally make. She did finally sort of come out and make her opinions on ICE and on Tectone sort of obvious, I guess. It was a little vague still, but it's clear what she's saying. I just don't know. I don't know. The big thing for me is I do think that the big thing for me is that I truly hope that we are done with this era of people being centrist, of people being apolitical because they are doing it to sort of, protect themselves and keep their audience happy. Because we are definitely at a time where, one, you should be calling shit out, and two, it's just stupid. Like, centrism is just a stupid quote unquote ideology. Like, the bold opinion of having no opinion. Congratulations. I don't know. I think it's truly one of my most, like, pet peeve sort of things when it comes to politics is someone identifying as a centrist, because no, you're not. No, you're not. You're just not. You're fucking not. You're not. You're not. Um you're not, and you never were. So I do hate it. I do really hate it. But people love to do it online because I do understand why, to an extent. Um like on like one from the angle of you don't want to alienate a part of your audience. Two, there is a very aggressive sort of response that you can get if you do express a political opinion, especially if your political opinion is more to the left, then you're going to get a pretty negative response from people on the right. And if you don't want to deal with that shit, it's easy to be like, I'm just not going to get involved. But I personally think that is a very weak position. I have obviously never shied away, I guess, from expressing my political opinions on things. And I don't think you should. I just don't think you should. I think it's ultimately it's up to you if you want to talk about your opinions, to share them, that kind of thing. But you do kind of I just think that not saying anything is also taking a position on it. But a lot of people don't seem to see it that way. So, anyways, that's enough of me babbling about people being centrists and shit. Let's take a look at the clip. See what emiru has to say.
Like, there's a certain extent where I'm like, okay, sure, I get people wanting big content creators to, like, say their opinions on, like, important topics. I get that, right? But it's like, if you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to, like, get off the internet. Like, just stop. Like, hello? Like, I don't, like, what? Like, how am I gonna, I don't know, get help? Like, even, like, I don't know. Like, obviously I don't, like, dislike any of the political streamers, except for, like, some of, like, the really bad ones. I don't really like them. But it's like, I don't understand how in the first place people care so much what they say. I guess it's because they just have a lot of reach or influence, but it's like, why are you listening to them in the first place? I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. To me, it just seems very obvious that it's less about like that's a cop out response for one. It's a cop out response. You can just answer the question and say whether or not you support it or not. And again, I think that a lot of this is also just coming from her relationship with Asmongold, and because of that, people are going to assume that you support it because you still seem to associate with Asmongold, and obviously that's not a deal breaker for you. Um so yeah, that is that was that clip. She did make a very long response, which I should have somewhere here. It's right here. I scrolled right past it. All right. And this thing is like long as hell. Did we need an essay? I'm going to be real honest. Did we need an essay? Did we need an essay? Okay. I'm going to read some of this. Like and subscribe as I literally bash my head against this wall of text. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Oh boy. Hello, it's very rare I will speak my mind, but I'd rather get my thoughts out there, so apologies if this is long. I don't know, apology not accepted. There's a clip from my stream that's been circulating a lot, so I'd like to explain it for anyone who was hurt or shocked by it. That's another thing. She's gonna say that because I did skim this a little bit earlier. She's gonna say that the clip was edited, and it very well may be. Um, I don't think you can edit that in a way if you did give your opinion. I mean, if you just, like, didn't include that part, it's possible. I don't know why she wouldn't just share that part if she did give her opinion. So, it's not like it was edited to not show your opinion. I'm pretty sure you just didn't give your opinion, which you're entitled to do, but people are going to respond to that. Uh So when the clip starts, I was responding to a mod asking a question that included the word ice. I'm not someone who normally comments on or gives my opinions on serious real world topics, which is like fine, I guess, because again, I don't think that you should be going to streamers or content creators for your political views or anything like that. Like form your own opinions, you know? Like take the time to educate yourself and like teach yourself your and sort of form your own worldview on things. Like I personally will always just encourage you to take the time to educate yourself and make sure you are informed on things that are going on and on various different topics and make the best decision possible. So I think it's fine if people don't want to like talk about that kind of thing. But I do think that avoiding giving your political opinion on things is a little bit of a cop out. It's a little bit of a because there's like there are ways to like there are ways for your opinion to casually come up, you know? And if you're not even giving it in like a casual sense, you know, like if it's just like it comes up casually in conversation and you still avoid talking about politics even then, I do think that you're definitely trying to please your audience quite a bit. And I think that's a little bit of a weak sauce take. That's a little bit of a weak sauce opinion to have, a weak sauce spot to be in because everyone has political opinions and I just think that that level of disengaging, while it may be fine and dandy for escapism and that kind of thing, I think it does more harm than good to like the sort of average person's like engagement with politics. Like I think that people would be a lot less sketchy about like talking about politics and a lot less sort of hostile and like they're like people avoid talking about politics like it's the fucking plague. Like in real life, in just like in a general sense, they like maybe it's just me or maybe there's people I'm around, but I find that people do tend to avoid talking about politics because it's considered, you know, something that will cause arguments, something that could, you know, expose the sort of bad parts of a person that you're interacting with. And you don't really want to know your friends' shitty opinions on politics because then you have to contend with that. You have to be like, well, shit, do I still want this person in my life? And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. They just want to vibe. um, so I just, I personally think that to a degree, people are influenced by these sort of natural just conversations that they have and hear around them. And so if you are a content creator who just sort of casually talks about politics every now and again, I do think that a little bit of just even like a weird sort of exposure therapy almost for people would be generally good. And so I think that if more content creators did that, if more people in general did that, and we're uh not so like hesitant to talk about politics, that we would all be in a little bit of a better place when it comes to discussing politics and being more aware and educated on politics and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know I mean, I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure that that would fix anything, but I do think that it would generally be a healthier environment than the one we currently have. And so I do get frustrated when people are like, I just don't talk about politics or real world serious topics because, you know, we want to have fun here. Like, okay, but you can mention shit every now and again. Like you don't got to completely clock out from that stuff. That's just like not natural. It's not how a natural conversation works. It's not how things naturally sort of progress. Like if you're having a conversation with someone and politics comes up, unless you're talking to someone who really doesn't want to talk about politics, chances are you're going to maybe dip into it at least a little bit. You're going to give your opinion on the subject. So I don't know. I do think it's interesting how weird we are with just discussing politics as like a casual conversation sometimes. Uh where was I? Not someone who normally comments on or gives my opinion on serious real world topics, so it didn't really click to me that they were referring to the agency. I don't know about that one, friend. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can see in the clip when I say thoughts on ice, there is an instant cut afterwards that makes it seem like I'm responding directly to that question, which I'm not. To clarify, since this has gotten a lot of people speculating about my real thoughts, it should go without saying no one deserves to live. Like, I don't know that that's true. I would like to see the full clip. Uh, I would like to see the full clip to verify what actually happened here. God, I don't even. When was this? When was this from? So this was. Can we find the full clip? It would just be on her stream, right? Like her VOD is probably still up, right? Hold on. I wanna see if we can find the actual clip now. Because I am not sure I am buying this this explanation here. Or at the very least, I'm not understanding what she's saying happened. Like, I get what she's trying to say happened, but I don't understand. I'm having trouble visualizing it, I suppose. She says, was responding to a mod asking a question that includes the word ice. And so it didn't really click to me that they were referring to the agency. Like, I don't know, man. Am I crazy to think that's a little bit it's a little bit not quite hold on. What was she like wearing? So I know which VOD this was. Hold on. Cuz I want to see the clip. I want to see what she actually said. Okay, she's wearing the hat. Um Um, damn. Someone's gotta have the clip. Hold on. Someone's gotta have the clip. Where we at, homie? Where we at? It's crazy. Okay. Here we go. This one? This one? February 6th? I think so. 2 days ago. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can find where in the VOD this is. Also, I love how Grok is so fucking stupid now. I mean, like, it's always been stupid, but Twitter is so fucking stupid because you have look at the fucking news. It's AI generated, right? So it's all AI it's all AI. Like it's literally Grok Grok decides like what it thinks you're it's literally Grok deciding what it thinks you should have for news. And so we have what Kaide and Tenzi announced their mutual split after nearly 7 years. So two people who I have no fucking clue who they are, other than I guess they're streamers. So not actually relevant to me. Thank you, Grok, for giving me irrelevant news. Emiru dodges ice question, divides streamers. 2 days ago. So it's giving me 2-day-old news. Today's news is 2 days old. Kendall Tools get them banned clip becomes 2026 meme favorite. What the fuck? What is that for news? Wait, what? Is that the fucking... Yeah, I'm like, it's this fucking shit. Fitness influencer Kendall Tool reacts to becoming a meme. This is a meme now, which I mean, fine. I'm fine with it becoming a meme. But
Get
Why
them
is
banned.
this news?
Get them banned. We don't do that here. Oh, now I'm pissed. Find out who that is, get them banned.
Like, why is that considered news, Grok? What the fuck? Oh my god, I hate this. I just closed that. I didn't mean to close that. Fuck. I hate this app, though. I hate this app so much. It's so stupid. I hate this website so much. It's so stupid. Grok is literally controlling your fucking AI. Grok is literally controlling the news, and it's just bad. It doesn't give you any actual news anymore. It's so fucking bullshit. It just gives you literal all shit that I've seen already. Like, I've seen all 3 of these things already because they're a day old and 2 days old. So the news that it is giving me, which is out of date, it's like outdated news. I've already seen it. And it's just stupid. Oh my god. I forgot what I was looking for emiru, the full clip. I was gonna see if I could find the full clip. Oh, okay. I know how to find it. She's looking at that weird shit, so it shouldn't be too hard. Here we go. Oh, it's been muted. Dude. Fuck. Well, we can't figure it out because this part of the fucking VOD has been muted. So we're just gonna have to go off of what I guess emiru had to say here. But I still don't know how much I buy it. But in her words, she did not think that she did not realize they were referring to ice. I don't know how the actual clip played out because the VOD is muted, so I cannot play it and show it to you. But she says there is a thoughts on ice. There's an instant cut afterwards that makes it seem like I'm responding directly to that question, which I'm not. Which there very well may be. If there is, I still wish we could see what was actually said. To clarify, since this has gotten a lot of people speculating about my real thoughts, it should go without saying no one deserves to live their life in fear of being killed or taken away from their homes or families, regardless of who is doing it, but especially not because of ICE or any other government agency. I understand the world is a very cruel and messed up place. You don't have to study politics or actively read the news to know that. I would never want to invalidate anyone who struggles with those things, and an agency like causing fear and suffering deserves zero support. To me, that's not even political, it's basic human empathy. All right, fair. My real one criticism is that I wish she had said this without prompting. I wish she hadn't needed to be sort of harassed into saying this stuff, but that is just my sort of issue with the political landscape, the climate online, the approach that streamers have to politics in general, where I wish that they just talked a little bit more about it. Like, it's fine, be bold, be brave, be, be heroic, I don't know, speak out. I never made comments on stream about ICE in the first place. That was a dishonest and intentionally maliciously clipped post. It's a very common thing. See, I don't like this meta of everyone blaming things on bad clips now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it definitely does to quite a few streamers who get clipped out of context, who get purposely clipped in malicious ways. It definitely happens. There are some streamers it happens to more than others. But I really don't like this new meta of blaming everything on clip culture. It's getting kind of tired. And it's a really easy way to be like, oh, I was clipped out of context, like, don't bother me. I was clipped out of context, bro. I just don't like it. I feel like it's a I don't know. I don't necessarily think that she was clipped out of context so much that it takes away from the point or the purpose that reason or the reason that people are upset with her. Because the reason people are upset is because she doesn't speak out about ICE or doesn't speak out about her association with Asmongold, who has supported ICE and hasn't commented on like Tectone's case, like that kind of thing. I don't think she was taken out of context so much that it took away from that. But that's just my opinion. Once again, I will ask you to hit that like button, hit that follow if you're watching on Twitch, and yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, you should subscribe to my YouTube, and vice versa, I guess. I'm so good at this, guys. I'm so good at shilling myself. Where were we? Additionally, I thought I might as well bring this up. No, I skipped the whole paragraph. Sorry. I never made comments on stream about ICE in the first place. That was a dishonest and intentionally maliciously clipped post. Again, I really wish we could see what the actual post was, because that's like frustrating to me. I really wish we could see what the actual post was, but because she was playing music during it, it's fucking muted. Like I wish we could actually see like what the actual clip was, because I'd like to know how this actually played out. If it's not like, if it wasn't her, if she didn't make a comment on ICE ever, except she definitely did. Like that's the problem, right? Like she definitely said, if you're asking for someone's opinion, like if you're asking for a streamer's opinion on ICE, I think you need to like, I don't know, get off the internet or something, which is not making an opinion, not stating her opinion on ICE specifically, but she is, like I said, not saying anything is kind of taking an opinion. Like it's kind of taking a position. You've decided that it's not important enough for you to speak up on it, or you're not bothered enough by it to speak out on it. So, sure, you didn't necessarily give your opinion on ICE per se, but that's kind of the problem. The problem is that you never made comments on stream about ICE. Like, no one's really upset with you for saying you supported ICE, because that's not what happened. I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't know. I never made comments on stream about ICE in the first place. That was a dishonest and intentionally maliciously clipped post. I don't even think the video made it seem like you did make comments on ICE. That's so like, okay. It's a very common thing that clip accounts do to streamers, and it's becoming more and more common. Again, I kind of wish that we would stop with this meta already. I'm tired of it. But because I don't think this was one of those instances. I again, I don't think the clipping out of context was so egregious that it changed the entire situation. Da, da, da. But it should go without saying, no one should have to live in fear or suffer because of who they are or where they're from. This is something that's always been important to me. I just tend to try to focus my creative stuff around games and cosplay rather than try to take up room in an environment already polluted by misinformation and hatred. Okay. Which I can respect. I will say my motto is not to like if I'm uninformed on something, my motto is to sort of defer to people who have more information, to allow them to talk about it. So I will prefer to amplify voices who have more knowledge on a subject rather than directly speaking on it myself, because I don't have that much knowledge on it. So I can like respect that approach to an extent, but at the same time, I do think I just wish that she hadn't needed to be bullied into this statement. um it's just a little bit of it's just a little bit of, again, you didn't feel strongly enough about this subject to make a comment on it. You saw what was happening with ICE because clearly you have seen what is going on, you're referencing it here, and it wasn't enough for you to make a comment on it, and instead you're like, it should go without saying that. Like, that's the part that I think is also interesting. She keeps saying, hold on, where was it? Uh, but it should go without saying, no one should have to live in fear or suffer because of who they are or where they're from. So, yeah, it should go without saying. The problem is it doesn't. Like, it doesn't go without saying. And the people who are willing to say it gets like fewer and far between each day, it seems. And so people want you to be one of those people who's willing to say it. And I think that's honestly a fairly, I don't think that's a crazy request to make of someone with a platform when there is obvious injustice happening, for them to take the sort of simplest position of just being against that. Like, you don't have to do any sort of actual activism. You don't have to like actually go out there and do anything. No one's asking you to go out in the streets and protest. They're just asking you to sort of take the position on ICE and say that ICE is bad. Say that this thing is bad. And you couldn't even really do that until people pressured you to do so. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's just kind of the big thing, is that it doesn't go without saying we live in a world where a lot of people will say the opposite. A lot of people will be like, "No, you shouldn't support," like, a lot of people will be like, "No, like, you should support ICE," you know? A lot of people will be like, "No, these people don't deserve to not have, like, not have to worry about being taken from their homes or hurt by ICE. They should have to worry about those things." Like, there are a lot of people who think that. So I definitely understand why people are like, "Hey, what's your fucking position on this? Do you want to tell us? Can you tell us?" um Additionally, I thought I might as well bring this up now. It's a very traumatic and personal topic, so that is why I avoided talking about it. I will never be friends with anybody who abuses anyone, assaults people, or consumes content that enables the abuse of children. I've always been a creator who is friends or on good terms with basically everybody, streamers in Texas, in LA, in all different bubbles, and this has unfortunately included some bad actors. Okay, okay. This is another reason I wanted to talk about this, because I do think people need to just pick their fucking friends a little bit more carefully. Um like, hot take. Hot spicy take. In the effort to collab with everybody and be okay with everybody, uh content creators often end up in this position where they have to stand and make a, statement and be like, this person I associated with once, I don't fuck with that person anymore because they did some fuck shit. And it's like, there were definitely signs there that this person was not great. You just overlooked them. And I think you should maybe ask yourself why. Because chances are it was because you wanted to collab. You wanted to make money, and you didn't really care at that point. So, I don't know. I I do think that this is not just an emiru issue, but sort of the environment of like content creation and streaming online has led to this repeating pattern happening. Like, I'm not saying that you can't ever like make a mistake and associate with someone who isn't, a good person. Like, it happens. It definitely happens. Like, it happens to like normal people. Like, I'm sure all of us have had a shitty friend before who we realized later on was pretty shitty. Um, my point is that sometimes the signs are there before you even get to that point, and in a lot of these cases, the signs were there before we ever got to the point. And instead of seeing those signs, when other people did see those signs and maybe raised alarms about those things, you were just kind of like, whatever, because it didn't affect you. So, yeah, it's a little hard for me to take that one, I guess, but this has unfortunately included some bad actors. A lot of people have questioned how these bad actors found their way into my circle, but it is certainly not because I am okay with vile behavior. Not abuse, not sexual assault, nor pedophilia. These guys did their best to hide their behavior not only from me, but from everyone around us as long as they possibly could. Again, I'm not saying that you can't associate with someone who's been shitty and, find out later that they're shitty. Again, I'm sure all of us have had someone in our life who we later found out was not a great person for whatever reason. However, and do abusers try and hide those things from people? Of course. Of fucking course. Do I think that this is a scenario where Tectone hid his shitty behavior before the case? I I don't think so. Again, I do think the red flags were definitely there, and you probably just overlooked them for your own benefit. And yeah, and I don't think you necessarily overlooked the red flags that told you that that he was like a fucking like sexual abuser, but you probably overlooked red flags that told you that he was not a great person. um like there is sort of a like a spectrum here, it's not like 1 to 100 in 5 seconds, but there is a degree of like, this person is kind of shitty, maybe I should reconsider my associations with them before we even get to, oh, they're being accused of like actual predatory behavior. So again, I just think a lot of people need to be a little bit more careful about who they associate with. Maybe just apply a little bit more um like conviction like standards as far as the people you're associating with. Like if you see them contradicting themselves, if you see them being someone who is not necessarily sticking to the things that they say they believe in, that's a pretty good sign that you're not dealing with a genuine person and that maybe you should reconsider. um, that's a decent sign that this person could be a problem down the line. Because if you can't even stick to your basic convictions, then like I don't know like what I can trust you on. What can I take your word for if not like the things you say you believe in? Uh I always immediately dropped them and vowed to never make content with them again. Basically everyone in Austin did the same. These incidents, multiple of them, of course, were something the streamer community here talked about extensively and affected all of us a lot. I thought actions over words, never interacting with those people again and preventing them from being involved in streamer community activities a lot of which in Austin are hosted by me, would send a clear message that this type of shit isn't welcomed. I suppose maybe that did not make. I suppose maybe that did not make how I felt clear. Again, I think I wouldn't go too hard on her for this because ultimately I do think I personally am a big actions over words person. I prefer to see people put in the work as opposed to just hearing them say I'm going to do the work. However, I do think a public condemnation of someone that you have worked with extensively in the past and have a connection to is probably needed if they do something to this extent, they do something this, awful and it comes out, then yeah, I do think you should probably also include a public condemnation in your distancing of yourself from that person. Uh yeah. I think that's just kind of a I think that's kind of a given, to be honest with you. Um like yeah, obviously do the work, do the actions of not including them, but yeah, public condemnation, making it very clear, especially in a situation like this where the public support angle is kind of important when you have someone accusing somebody of, like sexual assault and that kind of thing. Obviously, getting public support is going to be it's just good in a situation where people are going to be very hostile and very aggressive towards that person and want to dismiss their accusations almost immediately. I do think that expressing your support publicly for that person is just a better thing to do. It's just a better way to approach the situation. It makes it very clear where you stand, and it makes it so that people, you know that you are willing to stand and do the right thing. That you're willing to stand on business and you're not going to sort of pussyfoot around it. Well, hopefully this makes it more clear. Anyone who abuses people or children is not my friend and never will be again. Always has been that way and always will continue to be that way. I know this won't stop people from taking issue with the way I do things. I don't expect it to. I'm saying this because I know my community and friends are fatigued. That's pretty much it. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I will continue doing what I usually do. I just wanted to finally say something because the speculation and lies were getting out of control. It'll likely continue, but I hope putting my stance out there will help those who already feel unsupported and unsafe, like there's one less person trying to send hatred their way. Okay. Then we got some comments, and from what I saw earlier, the comments were very much what you usually get when somebody does an apology or like a sort of me culpa post. You get a lot of people being like, you shouldn't apologize, you shouldn't have said this, they're just gonna keep coming after you. You did nothing wrong, now you apologize for something that you didn't do and came to one side, except that side will still alienate you because you don't think like them. So this is a common response here in this kind of environment, this kind of bullshit, and oh my god. It is just kind of exhausting. But this is also just the I mean, I talked a little bit about it earlier, just like this sort of attempt to be in the center all the time, this attempt to not take a side. It never really pans out because you ultimately will have to take a side. And when you do take a side, you're going to have more issues than if you had just taken a side to begin with. If you had just said from the beginning, I am on this side, I have this position, you would be in much better straits than you are having taken the centrist route and then taken the pivot to, oh, yeah, no, I support this. So I do think that again, this would have been great had it come without prompting, without everyone sort of getting mad at her. I don't know too much about how clipped the original video was, but I don't think it matters very much. Again, when her response was a bit of a non-response, a non-answer. And I do think she tried to play around a little bit with what was going on. I don't know if it's because she's perceiving it in a different way. Like, is she perceiving it as people having a comments about her, her making comments about ICE? Because I don't think that's what people were saying. I think people were more upset that she didn't make a comment about ICE, but she seems to be perceiving it as people being upset because she had a specific opinion or position on ICE, which she's saying she didn't take. And that's true. She didn't take a position on ICE in that video. She purposely didn't. That was the point. So for this part, of the post where she says, "I never made comments on stream about ICE in the first place." I do think that's a little bit of an attempt to sort of misdirect from what people were actually mad about, which is, yeah, you didn't make comments. That was the point. You specifically avoided making comments about ICE, and people wanted you to make comments about ICE. So I don't know if it's just her not really understanding what people are upset about or what, but overall, I think that this is probably her real position. I do think that she is someone who probably doesn't support ICE, doesn't like what's happening, doesn't support Tectone anymore, doesn't support abusers. I think that that's all true. I don't doubt her. Um, I don't doubt her when she says that. But I do think that she is someone, like a lot of content creators, who's really engaged in this era of centrism, of being apolitical, of trying to hide your views so that you don't get backlash for them. And this is just where we end up with that. You end up having to take a position eventually, and you can only do the centrism shit for so long, I guess. And again, I don't think anyone is really a centrist. Like I said, like it's like being a centrist is more of a facade, it's more of a mask than anything, because you have someone like Emiru who attempts to sort of not comment on anything, be apolitical, be in the center, be in the middle, not take a side. And it's clear that she has opinions on it. It's clear that she leans one particular way, but she's just not saying it. She's just not putting it out there. And we are moving, I think, in a direction where people are very tired of that. They're kind of sick of the, I don't want to have a position on this. Even people on the right, because oftentimes it does end up in a position like this where they end up making the statement eventually and then taking the position that they don't like. So it is just a interesting cycle that continues to happen. I don't necessarily, I don't know. I'm glad to see it end. I'm glad to see people get more critical, I guess, of the people they of the content they consume, or the people whose content they consume, because I do think that, like, you don't need to be super like super obsessed about this kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying that every single piece of content you engage in has to be like ethically like like ethically made or whatever from like the most ethical source. Like, I, for example, I like reality TV, okay? Not very ethical. um, Oftentimes very, very not great for the contestants involved. But I do think that when it comes to things like content creators and just like that kind of thing, that you should maybe, it's okay to be a little bit more critical of them, a little bit more like discerning about whose content you consume when it comes to their views on things, even on politics, because it just, you can be more, you can think about these things more. You can think about these things more. It's fine. It's fine. And at the end of the day, you can decide if you want to make a decision based on that. Is if it is like not every deal has to be a deal breaker, but there are obviously some things that are deal breakers. So anyway, I did think that this whole thing with emiru was interesting, just from a position of being from the position of content creators taking this centrist apolitical position all the time. And I do think we are seeing more and more lately that that position is no longer as viable as it once was. Um, and I do think that speaks to the sort of environment online these days. People are just very aggressive. I think it's both a good thing and a bad thing. It represents how aggressive and sort of polarized we have become and are becoming. But at the same time, I do think it shows that people do care about these things, and they are invested enough to have a reaction when a content creator doesn't necessarily express an opinion that is aligned with them. And it's weird, but I do think that is not the worst sign. Not necessarily the best sign, but not the worst sign. Like I can work with that energy, you know? I can make that work. So God, but yeah, you get these people who are like, it's absolutely disgusting that we now live in a world where people need to justify their political beliefs before engaging with them. Uh, you don't have to apologize for people who try to force their political beliefs onto you. Again, I don't think anyone was even trying to force their political beliefs onto emiru. They just wanted to know what her political beliefs were. They wanted to know what her position was on ice. And I think that even calling that a political belief at this point is a little silly, because I think it's more than just like political at this point. It's more than just about politics. Like, it's about real people who are being taken from their families and taken out of the country for no reason. It's about like children who are being kidnapped, you know? It's about entire families that are being separated. And so, yeah, it makes sense that people would want emiru to comment on it. It makes sense that they would feel some type of way about her response. And I do think that this is likely what she believes, even if it is still a little bit room for improvement, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. But I'm gonna wrap this topic up here. There were some other things I wanted to get into, and I'm still feeling slightly alive, so we can get into those as well. While it be words. You can tell my brain is still melting out of my ears. Give me a second here. Okay, fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Again, if you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, I am sick today. My brain is pudding, and I am barely keeping it together, but we're working on it. Uh, where are you? Here we are. Okay. Okay. Let me get my playlist up so we can talk about what's been going on. Super Bowl was tonight. It was there was one other thing I wanted to look at actually before we get into that because hold on. Does anybody know what the fuck is going on with Jake Paul? Like he's been seemingly on one and I got to admit it's a little fascinating because uh okay. 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 Cuz there's like two brands of right-wingers, right? There's like the common sense right-winger who is more of a I'm a centrist, I'm apolitical, but is actually a right-winger. And then there's the just straight up right-winger, like I identify as a right-winger, you know, etc. And up until recently, I feel like Jake Paul has definitely been playing more of like the he's definitely he's gone back and forth. Like I feel um like post election, he had some moments where he was like seemingly possibly having doubts, but then he seems to just be leaning back into the whole right wing. I will say grift because I do think it's mostly a grift. Like I do think he's probably a conservative, but I don't think he cares that much about politics, to be honest with you. I think it's just about money. So we have this one purposely turning off the halftime show. Do we think you watched the Turning Point USA halftime show? Do we think he watched the Turning Point USA halftime show? Kid Rock played. Kid Rock played half a song. It was incredible. Kid Rock, the Detroit Cowboy, apparently is what they call him, which I think is hilarious because as someone with family roots in Detroit, someone who has spent much time in Detroit, the Motor City, if you will, uh I don't know what the fuck a Detroit Cowboy is, but I guess it's Kid Rock. God damn. Okay, so let's rally together and show big corporations they can't just do whatever they want without consequences, which equals viewership for them. You are their benefit. Realize you have power. Turn off this halftime. A fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America. I cannot support that. Okay. Okay, so I don't know a whole lot about Bad Bunny. What the fuck does he mean by fake American citizen? What is like is Bad Bunny not Puerto Rican? Am I confused about Puerto Rico's status? Like I know they can't vote, but I do think they're still considered citizens. um I could be wrong. I genuinely could be wrong. Let's find out. Hold on. Hold on. We have the lovely power of Google at our disposal. I'm not reading the AI fucking overview, even though it probably has the answer. I will make you wait until I find. Yeah, they are in fact considered citizens. Uh, God damn it. Oh, I lost it. I'm so stupid. Here we go. Yeah. So definitely considered the Act of March 2nd, 1917 granted U.S. citizenship as of that date to all citizens of Puerto Rico and to certain natives of Puerto Rico who had been absent from Puerto Rico on April 11th, 1899, but had returned to reside permanently. So, yeah, checks out. Looks to me like he would not be a fake American citizen by any stretch of the imagination. So, what the fuck do you mean by that, Jake Paul? Uh, Also, who publicly hates America. I love this bullshit. I love this bullshit when people are like, "Oh, you hate America. Why are you here?" or whatever the fuck they want to say. I hate America because it's my God-given right as an American to do so. Are you fucking kidding me? That is like one of the few things I can still do in this country that they can't imprison me for at this point. Is say fuck America. Are you fucking kidding me? And these guys want to act like they're badasses who, would fly in the face of authority. They can't be tamed. They're free thinkers. They're the alphas. They rule the world, and yet they're out here fucking bootlicking, out here fucking acting like actual goddamn children. It's ridiculous. It's so fucking silly. It's so stupid because you're gonna be up here forever trying to act like you are the tough guy, you are the big man, you can't be told what to do, you are unchained, you are untamable. And yet you can't even spit in the face of the authority that is the American State Department, that is the United States of America. You have to sit here and be like, "No, I am an Americuck. I am I am the perfect American loving boy, the fortunate son. I am the baby child of America, and America loves me so much." It's fucking ridiculous. Like, yeah, I will say fuck America all I want because I am allowed to do so. And I don't even I don't even say it that much. Like, I do think fuck America quite a bit, but uh I'm an American. I As much as I hate to fucking admit it, I am an American. And unfortunately, I'm a black American, which means this is kind of what I get. Like, this is what I got. Like, this is the culture. This is the sort of history I have to be proud of. I have to sort of make my own here. Like, I got no idea. I can't I cannot tell you anything about my family lineage going back to Africa. I got nothing. Like, that shit's gone, lost to me. Bullshit. All I have is I am an American citizen. I am an American, and that is my fucking, that is my background. That is my culture. That is what is, makes me me. That's what makes me an American. But and I would like to be someone who can say they are proud of that. I'm not. I don't know if I ever will be, but I'd like to someday be someone who can say they are, proud to be an American. We ain't there yet. Uh it looks like he's also shilling some Bitcoin, I think. Is this a Bitcoin shill? I assume. What is this? A sports book, maybe gambling, maybe a gambling shill. So he's also shilling gambling or something. That's dope. If you don't like ice, this is from February 7th. This is from a few days ago. If you don't like ice, then you can't call 911 when you're in trouble. If you don't respect law enforcement agents, then you shouldn't depend on them. When Billie Eyelash gets her home broken into, it's not going to be fuck ice, I can promise you that. Wait, technically she can't get broken into because she stole the land. LOL. Like, I know this man's been hit in the head a couple times, and I do think he's just stupid. But he has exhibited a higher level of functioning in the past. I am not saying he's a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but he has exhibited a higher level of intelligence. Not much higher, but at least high enough in the past. So what is happening? Like I genuinely can't tell if this is him just leaning into this shit as much as he can. I do kind of think it is because it is just so stupid. Like it's even so stupid. It's even too stupid for him. It's even too stupid for him. It's too stupid for Jake Paul. For while, please shut up. While, please shut the fuck up. From all true Americans, if you don't want to represent this country, go live somewhere else. Again, it is my God given right as an American to criticize this country. Like, say, like, this idea that if you want to criticize America, if you don't like America, you should go somewhere else is so fucking stupid. It's such a childish bullshit way to approach shit. It's like, oh, you don't like this thing? You should just leave. You should just change. You should just leave. Don't bother fixing it. Don't bother making a change. Just get the fuck out. And you're not even allowed to voice that you don't like this thing. Just leave. Like, motherfucker, shocker, this may shock you. This may come as a surprise to you, but I am also a true American. Like, fuck this shit. Oh my god. It's a little bit incredible. You know, it's a little bit incredible, Jake. So, yeah, he's just been saying some very interesting shit. Um I don't necessarily know what's gotten him so riled up. The last time I came to look at Jake Paul's fucking Twitter, I think he was literally on drugs. So, I'm not sure. I was always proud representing my country. For me, the United States gave me opportunities you can't get in most countries across the world. Not sure who this skier, but would be good for him to spend time with our military to see what they go through. Indeed. Ayo, fuck our military too, dog. I can say that because I live in America. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Okay, not whatever the fuck I want, but you get the point. Like, it's so stupid, dude. It's so stupid. Indeed, he says. Indubitably. Oh, man. Jake. Jake. You're so. Like, maybe you need to get hit in the head a couple more times. Maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. Like, truly, I don't even know who this guy is, but respect to him for speaking his opinion. Guess what Hunter has around his neck? A lanyard with his ID to make sure only the authorized get into Olympic areas and use the benefits specifically for Olympians. So Olympic areas won't be flooded with illegals and benefits used up, exactly like we want in America. Oops. OMG, so based, love it. That's such a stupid fucking analogy. I'm sorry. Is the fucking country and the like actual like private area for fucking Olympians at the Olympic Games something you want to compare truly? Are we all to be Olympians? Like what is happening? What are we doing? Oh man. All right. No, that's chill. That's cool. No, that's exactly what I wanted to see. That's exactly what I wanted from this. So Olympic areas won't be flooded with illegals and benefits used up. Yeah, I don't think that's the reason. Like, I don't think they're worried about like people like illegal, quote unquote illegal illegals coming in and using up the benefits that are meant for um the Olympians. I think it's probably more about, just managing the fucking chaos and making sure people are where they're supposed to be and not where they're supposed to be. Like it's not, and it's not even like a one-to-one comparison in regards to the country. Like the Olympics is not fucking like oh my god. The Olympics the Olympics does not rely on people who are not the Olympics does not rely on people to just come in and, like compete in the like Olympics. It relies on, Olympians coming in and competing in the Olympics. The United States of America relies on immigrants coming in to the country. It always has. It's not it's not a good comparison. I love the attempt though. I will give you like a 2 out of 10, but the attempt was creative and it was kind of cute. It was adorable, really. But Jake Paul thought it was a genius attempt. Of course he did. Yeah. All right. That's really all I wanted to talk about for this part. I just thought this was very interesting. Did Logan have anything to say? I hope not. I hope Logan just doesn't talk ever. Uh, wait, that's crazy. What is happening? I love my brother, but I don't agree with this. Puerto Ricans are Americans, and I'm happy they were given the opportunity to showcase the talent that comes from the island. Is this a bit? Like, are they doing a bit? Don't they also have like weird connections to Puerto Rico? Like, is it just Logan or is it both of them? If it's just Logan, that makes more sense. Hold on. Um, that's so funny. Can we get them? Have they fought? Like, have they like fought? That feels like a thing they would do. Yeah, like they have a house in Puerto Rico. Um, they have a house in Puerto Rico because of the tax benefits, I suppose it says. Um, so yeah, out here being literally just the most obnoxious motherfucker ever, and still being like, yeah. Wait, how old is Jake Paul? I'm sorry. Real quick, I have to figure this out. Because I know Logan's older. And Logan was born in 95. So how old is Jake? God fucking damn it. Why did I feel like Jake Paul and Logan Paul were like significantly older than me? Not significantly older, but at least like a good couple years. Jake is only a year older than me. That's very upsetting. Okay. That's so upsetting. That's upsetting to my core. All right. That's enough of this. We're going to move on. Um Okay, let me get the playlist like I was attempting to do before I got so rudely distracted by my own brain wanting to talk about Jake Paul being stupid. Da, 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 da.
The search for Nancy.
Okay. Finally, we're gonna get to some things that I got going for you. I've been keeping an eye on the like the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. I think that this is I'm not like a true crime channel or anything like that, so I'm going to avoid too much speculating or anything like that. I do have some opinions. I mostly am interested in commenting on sort of how people have been reacting to all of this, because it's been interesting to see the variety of responses, um, and like the theories coming out of sort of the woodworks here. But we're gonna take a look at some of, like, I've got a couple of videos about. Oh, that was another thing real quick I wanted to look at in relation to this. Let's take a look at the. Let me see if I can find the new video that they put up. I think it was this one. Was it this one? Is it just pretty short? I didn't know if it was like if there was like a longer one. So far, if you haven't been keeping up with this, basically, Nancy Guthrie, um, Savannah Guthrie, who is I believe, like a news anchor among, that kind of thing. Her mother has gone missing, seemingly kidnapped, and it's been about a week now, and she has medication and stuff that she needs that she does not have access to, which is one of the big things I think is very that has been sort of concerning to me, is that obviously it's easy to sort of kidnap someone, like an elderly person. Like, you're probably not going to, I guess, have much of a resistance in that scenario. Like, it's probably fairly easy to do, but I think obviously taking care of them for a extended period of time is going to be more difficult. Um like, I suspect probably even more difficult than if you were to like kidnap a child, because children are kind of durable, like they're young, they're healthy, unless they have like serious medical issues, they're going to be able to hang in there for a while. Um, Not so much the case for an old woman who needs certain medication for like her heart and other illnesses, that kind of thing. You can see a very quick deterioration. So that would be my concern. Um, there's been like ransom notes that they have been talking about. Of course, I it seems like one of them was actually legit. There were multiple ransom notes, so I don't know how many of them were actually legit, but they do seem to be responding and or engaging with someone. I don't know if it's necessarily being done out of caution, or if they do actually think they have a lead here. Like, is it a case where they're doing so out of the sort of abundance of caution that this person does actually have Nancy and is actually communicating with them, or are they sure that this person has Nancy? Like, have they received a proof of life, like that kind of thing? I don't know. Um, I don't know if that information is public either. So, but we'll take a quick look. We'll take a quick look at this, and then watch some of the news that has been out. But this was the response that they did recently. They did another video, sort of pleading with the kidnappers before, and now they've done this one, which we'll take a look at here.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So yeah, honestly, I'm not entirely sure what to make of that, other than it does seem like they're obviously communicating directly with the kidnapper. I assume that they are in contact with someone who they believe to be the kidnapper. I don't really know, like, what else would be the scenario here, but that would be my sort of analysis of this. But we've got a couple videos here as well. Take a look at. Oh, I'm fading. I'm sorry. I'm barely hanging in there right now. It has been I'm still sick. I'm still not doing great, but we'll get through this and then I'll probably call it a night, or we'll um God, I really did want to look at this open letter to Erica Kirk because I keep putting it off. It's only 40 minutes. Maybe we'll take a look at it. See what Candace had to say. Clandis.
See Guthrie, mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie. Last night,
Sorry. Hold on, I gotta turn it up a little bit. I think it's fine for you guys, but it's very quiet for me. Let's see.
investigators were spotted at the home in the search for Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie. Last night, investigators were spotted at the home of Guthrie's sister Annie, taking photos inside a garage. CBS's Andres Gutierrez picks up the story from Tucson, Arizona.
Sunday marks 1 week since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, was first reported missing. The search for the 84-year-old began soon after she failed to show up for Sunday service last week at Tucson's St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and friends grew concerned. This weekend, parishioners at St. Andrew's prayed for her safe return.
We pray for Nancy's rescue. We pray for her release. We pray that she would be brought safely home.
We received your message, and we understand.
On Saturday, Savannah Guthrie and her siblings took to social media to address those responsible for taking their mother. Their video came in response to an apparent message from the captor.
We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
The FBI is assessing the authenticity of apparent ransom notes sent to multiple media outlets last week. The notes established two deadlines, one which has passed, the other one set for tomorrow. On Saturday, investigators returned to Nancy Guthrie's property, continuing to search for clues. They also visited the home belonging to Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Annie. This comes 1 day after FBI agents removed a camera from the roof of Nancy Guthrie's home and towed her car from her garage to examine it for possible fingerprints or other evidence. CBS News has also learned law enforcement is tracking down vehicles captured on surveillance cameras the night she disappeared, including at this gas station. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information that will lead to the return of Nancy Guthrie or to the arrest of those responsible for her abduction. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Tucson, Arizona.
Authorities have yet to name a suspect or a person of interest.
Also, I will say that this has just kind of shown me that despite the fact that we live in a crazy, like, camera police state, like, cameras everywhere, you're always getting caught on camera and shit, you can still fucking kidnap a person and possibly disappear with them. Or at least disappear with them for a week, possibly more. I really thought that we were kind of like done with that shit. Like it was like, I don't know if the FBI and law enforcement is just so incompetent now. Like we've gotten to the point where we've deteriorated to where they're so incompetent that they can't even accomplish it even with like millions of cameras and that kind of thing. I don't really know, but I guess we're back. We can kidnap now again. I don't know. Yay! Like this is not a good thing. Like that's like one of the few sort of benefits of having so many fucking cameras and shit is that it's kind of hard to get away with, serious crimes. like usually if you commit a serious crime, you're gonna be caught. But we don't even have that benefit anymore, I guess. You can't even like possibly, rescue someone when they have been kidnapped or something like that. Like that's that is interesting to me. I truly thought that we were so like so watched that we were at a point where this kind of shit was pretty much, very hard to do. Like, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe there's still ways to see this shit out, I guess. Fucking hell.
In this case.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. The Pima County Sheriff has confirmed to CBS News they received a ransom note related to the apparent abduction of Nancy Guthrie. The note contains specific details of what Nancy, the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, was wearing Saturday night when she is believed to have been taken, although the sheriff would not confirm the accuracy of that information. Our crews also took this video, which appears to show drops of blood on her doorstep.
Would they even know that information? Like, I know she was dropped off by her son-in-law, but from what I understand, she was kidnapped she was abducted hours later. I imagine she would have changed clothes by that. Because it was nighttime. And normally you would change into your, pajamas, your sleeping clothes. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible that they would know what she sleeps in, but I'm not sure.
Of her home, but it's unclear whose blood it may be. Detectives collected DNA samples from the home.
I'm pretty sure they confirmed that blood was hers. Let me see if I can find it. Because I don't want to say that that's the case, if that's not the case. Investigators said Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on her porch after she was kidnapped from her Arizona home days ago. Yeah, I'm getting that was the case. Also, they said this like 3 days ago, so I don't know why they're saying it's unconfirmed. Like even the fucking BBC is like, yes, the blood was hers. Yeah, so they've got like a timeline too. Garage door closes after Guthrie is dropped off. That was 2150. And then 147, Guthrie's doorbell camera is disconnected and removed. 228, the pacemaker disconnects from its phone app, which was left behind. So that's when I imagined that she was taken. So I do suspect that she would have changed clothes between this time, between 2150 and 228, but again, I don't know. I'm probably being a little bit too fuck, I don't even know what the word I was trying to think of was. I'm being a little bit too just overthinky about this, I assume.
That had been confirmed to belong to Nancy, but the sheriff has not confirmed whether those samples were blood. The local sheriff said the investigation is ongoing, warning.
I had no idea what that sentence even was. The blood was confirmed to be hers. I guess they're saying that whether those samples were blood. Confirmed, detectives collected DNA samples from the home that had been confirmed to belong to Nancy, but the sheriff has not confirmed whether those samples were blood. Okay, I mean, it seems confirmed.
Said the investigation is ongoing, warning reporters during a press conference today the department is still waiting for evidence to be processed to get more answers.
We gathered all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine. And we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us. And we're like you. We're waiting for those returns to come back.
CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez joins me now from outside the Guthrie home. What more have we learned?
Well, Lindsay, the Pima County Sheriff told Jonathan Vigliotti that ransom note was sent to a local television station late last night. They ended up sharing it with investigators, but chose not to make it public. The sheriff said that note did include specific details about the home and what Nancy Guthrie was wearing that night. He would not confirm whether that information is accurate, but the FBI reviewed that note and made a decision to share it with Savannah Guthrie nearly 20 hours after receiving it and analyzing it. The sheriff says they are taking this note very seriously. Authorities had hoped to keep it from becoming public, but that same note was later sent to TMZ, which then reported on it before contacting the sheriff's office. We here at CBS News need to emphasize the note's authenticity has not been verified. As for the surveillance video, the sheriff's office said that they have not produced anything productive, helpful so far. Investigators believe the system may have been set to automatically delete footage after a short period of time, and now they're attempting to recover that video using forensic tools. As you noted, we did observe some small amounts of blood outside the front door of the house here. Again, the sheriff was asked over at the press conference earlier today about that blood, and he says that they have sent DNA evidence over to the lab and they have received some results, but those results haven't told him who did this. He also stressed that that forensic work overall takes some time, and they still don't have the answers for that, and they're still waiting for more information to come back. Lindsay.
Andres Gutierrez, thank you. Anna Schechter joins me now. She's a senior coordinating producer for CBS News' Crime and Public Safety Unit. The story just gets more and more distressing. So the Pima County Sheriff Department told our Jonathan Vigliotti that they were trying to keep the information of this ransom note from going public, but it leaked. Why would they want to do that, to prevent it from going public?
Well, they want to figure out the best course of action. This is a complex situation, potentially a complex negotiation, and you don't want a lot of noise influencing the outcome when you want to have as much control over the situation as possible from a law enforcement perspective. So they were not happy that this information leaked out, but then they felt they had to put out there that they are taking this seriously, and every tip, including that one, went to the FBI and their detectives who are working closely together.
Any other information that you glean from Jonathan's interview with Sheriff Nanos?
Well, all this around the note is really extraordinary, and so it was great to have Jonathan there asking him about it. But in terms of the surveillance video in the house, we learned that actually it would tape over and wouldn't save in a way that's easy to obtain the video.
I still don't understand this. Like, again, I don't know if my expectations were just higher when it comes to cameras and shit and the surveillance state that we live in. But damn. Shit kind of sucks. This shit is kind of ass, man. Like, you can't even figure out, like, how do you have a camera and you don't have, like, any footage, anything? And it's all because you didn't pay for a subscription? Like, this is, like... like, I don't mean to bring everything back to capitalism, you know? Like, I don't mean to bring everything back to... Damn, bro, it really did just come down to money in the end of the day. But, like, fuck, it really did just come down to money at the end of the day. Like, if you just paid for the subscription, we may already know who took her. Like if they had just been paying for a little bit more for a subscription or something, or however more for a subscription, then the footage may have been fucking saved or whatever. Like, I don't know exactly how it works, but, like, they've talked about the fact that they weren't paying for a subscription, which means that the cameras, like, don't save the footage or whatever, or they tape over it or whatever. And it's just, it's so weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That seems really stupid. But, like, I guess if you're looking at it from like, you know, a capitalist trying to make money standpoint, it makes sense. You're gonna take away, you know, a crucial aspect, a crucial feature, and put it behind a paywall or put it behind, you know, more money so that people want to pay more money thinking it's, you know, better for their safety and that kind of thing. Ugh. When the truth is, very few people are probably going to be in a situation where they actually need that shit, like this situation where it's like it would be really helpful if we had the footage, but you know.
So the surveillance video from inside her home right now is not helpful. But what I think is going to be even more helpful, because in a funny way, it almost doesn't matter what happened in the house. What matters is finding them and getting the make and model of the vehicle that she was taken away in is key to finding them, because that way a multi-state coordinated investigation can kick in where they're looking for one vehicle.
The sheriff's office says that their next briefing is going to be Thursday morning. What does that tell you?
Well, they're trying to space this out. I don't want to read too much into why. They might want to just keep things more contained. It might be that the FBI didn't want to have so much information coming out through the sheriff's department in those multiple interviews and talking to different reporters, including myself. They definitely made public that they want to kind of pull things back and take more time before they make any public statements. But it also tells me that potentially they have more leads to go on, and they want to focus all their effort on pursuing those and not taking the time to hold these briefings.
All right, you've been working this at all hours of the day. We appreciate you staying for us. Thank you.
All right, you guys, happy Thursday.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole thing is just really weird. I will say, as far as the sort of public interest of it all, you know, people talking about it, people being sort of invested in this kind of thing, it is bringing me back to the Titan submersible week. The week that submersible was, you know, missing. It is definitely reminding me of how people were during that. There were a lot of theories, a lot of speculation going on, and it was just kind of all over the fucking place. And it is definitely a similar environment online in that respect. You have a lot of people pointing fingers at the family, at, you know, whoever they think might possibly be involved, and it's messy. It's messy. So, and we live in like the height of conspiracy theories, right? So you have the worst motherfuckers out here. Like you have people literally bringing, like, look at this, 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 look at this. You have people saying shit like, during her childhood, Guthrie had a cousin named Terry who would playfully stage mock kidnappings and road trips with her and her sister Annie. Yo, what the fuck? Also, I will say, at the risk of at the risk of sharing a little bit too much, my fucking father used to pretend to kidnap me because it was like he taught me, basically, when I was younger. He would teach me like what to do if someone tried to kidnap me, right? So he taught me like all the things, and his way of, I guess like making sure I took the lesson to heart was that he would just randomly try and kidnap me. So like if I was just doing something, you know, like just sitting there like playing with my toys, he would just walk over and like randomly try to kidnap me. So he would pick me up and like try and take me out to the car, and I would have to like go into flight. I have to go into like fight mode, right? I have to like, you know, it was always like always scream. So screaming at the top of my lungs. I don't know what the fuck his neighbors thought were going on, but screaming at the top of my lungs. Um it was like little kid tactics, you know. So when you get in the car, you're supposed to like sit on their lap to make sure they can't drive away, which I don't even know how that, like, again, you're a little kid, so it's easier for you to like move around and stuff. And I don't know where he got these tactics from. I actually assume he learned them somewhere through his job. But it was a little weird. It was a little weird in hindsight, can't lie to you. Looking back, little weird. Don't know how that shit affected me mentally, but maybe I'm anxious now because I think someone's always gonna try and fucking attempt to kidnap me. I don't know. But yeah, that was a whole fucking thing my dad used to do when I was a kid. I don't think he did it to any of my siblings. It was just me. What a fucking strange time. Like he was trying. He was trying. He was trying to like be a dad and teach me something, I guess, useful. Um, Luckily, I never had to put it to the test. Oh fuck. Okay, I don't know what the fuck Candace has been on. She wrote an open letter to Erica Kirk, I guess. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. I'm not sure I have it in me. um, I'm not sure I have it in me. I think I'm gonna tap out. I think it's time to call it a night. Um, I am gonna go. I appreciate you watching. If you could give the stream a like for me if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button, that kind of thing. And I will catch you all later. I don't know. I'll probably stream sometime this week before Friday, but if not, I will see you Friday. And that's really all I got. So thank you so much for watching. Please do take care of yourself. Check out my links down below. I've got various different things down there. And yeah, I will see you all later. Free Palestine, and